So today I'm going to try and help anyone that has ever felt like they don't really know how to react to chaos. I'm going to talk about a few things, a couple ways you can respond to chaos, so options that you have, some skills everyone can always work on, improving that will help this, techniques to be successful when dealing with chaos, and a simple process proven to be effective that I learned while I was in the military. For those of you that don't know, 13 years in the Marine Corps, some of this has come directly from that. It is quite easily my most cherished skill that I learned from all of that was maintaining calm through pressure. So with that, life is chaotic. Rush hour traffic, changing weather, car trouble, illness, relationships, family, friends, meetings, deadlines, projects, fitness, diet, on and on and on and on. Everything, all the time, without end. It is a byproduct of the modern world. There's no escaping it unless you want to live in a cabin in the woods like I do when I retire. Some things are out of our control, but some things are directly in our wheelhouse and we can control. The first trick is to know the difference and react accordingly. Be careful with the whack-a-mole. If you stress about things that are out of your control too much, they will distract you from the things that you can control to make your overall experience better. Then, once you have that, we have to make a decision. You have to decide how to react. When faced with chaos, you need to make a choice. There's an endless list of options, from doing nothing to panic. Some are better than others. Two options that I have found to be the most effective are you can become the storm. Becoming the storm can be extremely powerful when done in the correct manner in the right circumstances. However, today, I'm not going to get into details of this one, and instead I'm going to be focusing on becoming the lighthouse, immovable, indestructible, a glowing tower of hope for anyone caught in the storm. You need to embrace being the beacon that others look to, which is its own source of stress if you allow it. This response requires a completely different mindset than any other reaction. You are aware and invested in the situation, but focusing in a way so the situation itself does not distract you from your goal. It requires a self-awareness and self-understanding. The most important skill to build to ensure success in chaos is self-understanding and self-awareness. This can definitely take time to establish, but I promise the payoff is worth it. First, you need to understand what causes stress for you in a chaotic situation. Many techniques have been proven over the years to work for this. For myself, I've had great results by carrying a small notebook and writing external and internal forces that caused me to feel stressed, overwhelmed, pressured, etc. as they were happening. That's the key. As they're happening, putting in the details, they get lost quickly. Over time, I built up a baseline of these common influences so I could identify them before the fact and react accordingly. From there, the next step is to practice different mental techniques to minimize these forces in the situation. I don't have the psychology training to go into depth helping individuals with this beyond the surface. Some breathing techniques, little things like that. Picture that calm place, your Zen location. However, I can provide a short list of books if anyone, or I believe can help anyone to start this journey if anyone is interested. Now you can begin to apply a very simple technique to take a situation and turn it from chaos to success using two actions. The first is to focus. Sounds simple, very difficult. To truly focus in the middle of chaos, you need to have a very practiced filter. You need to be able to block out white noise, the background din of everything and everyone that is adding to the chaos. The master level trick here is to not just block out everything like blinders, but to filter like sunglasses, allowing in helpful things. This can be easier with known and trusted sources of help. With this level of focus, you'll be able to more easily do the second action, which is to identify first the root cause problem. Depending on the situation, this can be as easy as saying, switch from Dever guest to redpepper.land. Or as difficult as, there's a hidden setting buried 3 menus down on one of our 4 network switches causing all of our problems. Once you have the problem, you can find the solution through whatever means are best for you at that time. Either a remembered experience, a Google search, what have you. At this point, you need to focus again, this time though, only on the solution. Do not fall into the trap of thinking about the problem once you have the solution. It only distracts you from the solution and does nothing to help. Eyes and mind forward to the light at the end. You can reflect later once the storm has passed. Now that's all good and everything. You've got self-understanding and awareness, some techniques to use, a few tricks to throw into the mix. But what happens when the chaos starts and in the moment, under pressure, you blank? Think to yourself, there's a thing, stuff I'm supposed to utilize, ways to do this, but I can't remember and I don't have time to pull up Eric's Redbit and remind myself. Not to worry, I've got you covered with everyone's favorite thing, a process. And in true military style, it's simple, effective, and easy to remember. I present to you the OODA loop. Looks worse than it is. Let's break it down. It is a loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. Rinse and repeat as needed. Pioneered by Airforce Colonel John Boyd, focusing on agility over raw power. Designed as a loop to reflect the cycle of all decision making. It has since been adapted into many areas of business and personal growth. Boyd's diagram shows that all decisions are based on observations of the evolving situation tempered with implicit filtering of the problem being addressed. The observations are the raw information on which decisions and actions are based. The observed information must be processed to orient it for decision making. In notes from his talk, Organic Design for Command and Control, Boyd said the second O, orientation, as the repository of our genetic heritage, cultural tradition, and previous experiences is the most important part of the OODA loop, since it shapes the way we observe, the way we decide, and the way we act. This can be a little much to run with on the fly though, so like I promised, a simple and easy to remember version. Here's the distilled version. Observe the situation to identify any problems, orient on the problem to identify the possible root cause and corresponding solutions, decide what solution you're going to apply, act, repeat. That simple. There are certainly areas of thought on this topic that can be added or expanded, such as prioritizing things. Simple trick I use for this is a quick assessment of whether it's a quick fix or not. Am I going to address and focus on this now, or am I going to assign it later? And overall impact being widespread or not. Is this affecting everyone, or is it one individual and I can do a quick workaround and fix the problem later? Just know that anyone can master this concept. Give it time and effort, and you'll come out of the storm.